Close this door. And turn to page 675. 10.1. At the end of a meal in a restaurant, Elsie wants to have pie topped with ice cream. There are 5 flavors of ice cream. Does it say what they are? Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. Where did it say chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, peach, and coffee? Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, peach, and coffee. Okay? And there are 2 kinds of pie, apple and cherry. Apple and cherry, apple and cherry, apple and cherry, apple and cherry, apple and cherry. See what I just did? What does it say to do? Make a tree diagram. Guess what this is called?
A tree diagram.
A tree diagram. To find out how many choices she has. How many choices does she have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Everybody follow that?
Yeah.
Number 6. An ordinary deck of cards contains 52 cards, 26 red, 26 black. If a card is dealt to each of 2 players, so here's player 1, here's player 2, so he gets what, 1 card and 1 card, right? In how many different ways can this be done if both cards are red? So how many ways can he get a red card?
26.
Because there's 26 red cards, right? Mm-hmm. So after we give him a card, and we want his card to be red too. How many possibilities here?
26.
If we already gave 1 card to this guy,
There'd be 25.
there are only 25 left to give to him.
Mm-hmm.
So what are they saying? What are they asking? How many different ways could this be done? 26 possibilities here. 25 possibilities here. The sequential counting principle, SCP, says the total possibilities would be 26. 26 times 25. 650 would be the answer to the question. There are 650 ways that I can give a red card to Celeste and then give another red card to Charissa. 650 ways. Does that number sound too big? So on the test, when it's a multiple choice question, he will give a smaller number that makes you feel better. Don't choose it. Do the math and put down the correct answer. And the more you work with him, the more you will become comfortable with the numbers. Okay, what's the second? What's 6B? Both cards are black. Now they want them both to be a black card. How many possibilities for a black card for the first person? How many black cards in a deck of cards?
Half of them? I don't know. 15?
Half of them are black. There's 52 cards in the deck.
52.
Half of them are black, half of them are red. What's half of 52?
I don't know.
Get your calculator, divide 52 by 2, and what do you get?
26.
So there's 26 black cards. So the first guy gets a black card. Then how many cards left to give the next guy a black card?
25.
So what's the possibility of each of them getting a black card? The same 650. So what's the next question? One card is black and the other one is red. So this could be black or red. Agreed?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't say which one. So one card could be black or red. How many possibilities to get a black or a red card?
52.
52. Then, whatever this is, if this one's black, then this one has to be red. You see that? So how many possibilities would there be for a red card? For the second one. How many red cards in the deck?
26?
What?
Would it still be 26?
Be 26, because this is a black card. So there'd be 26 possible red cards.
Mm-hmm.
And if this was a red card, then this would have to be a black card, and there'd be 20. So you'd have the same numbers again. So what would be, what's the question they're asking here? How many different ways? How many different ways could you have a black card and then a red card? Or a red card and then a black card? Either one. And what would it be? Because it doesn't say. It just says one card's black and the other card's red. So that would be sequential counting principle. 52 times 26. What does that equal? 52 times 26. 1,352. Wow. The numbers get up there real fast, don't they? Let me move this over a little more. Okay? Number 8. Mr. Senile and Mr. Demented.
Ah, that's so funny.
Get it.
Look at the problem. Mr. C.
Couple of old guys. Agreed to meet at 8 p.m. in one of the Spanish restaurants in Ybor City. They both remembered the time and the date. They just forgot the name of the restaurant. And there are 5 Spanish restaurants in town. So that would be restaurants 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? You follow that?
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Senile could have gone to restaurant 1, and when he was at restaurant 1, Mr. Demented could have been at 1, 2, 3, no, not 1. Well, he could have been at 1, couldn't he? 1, 2, 3, 4. He could have been at any one of these 5. Agreed? When Mr. Senile is at restaurant 2, Mr. Demented could have been at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Follow me? When Mr. Senile was at restaurant 3, Mr. Demented could have been at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When he was at restaurant 4, Mr. Demented could have been at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When he was at number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I got a tree here. Now, how many ways, what do they want to know for number 8? The number of ways they could miss each other. Miss. Let's see, that would be here, 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 here. Here, 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 here. You follow what I'm doing? 3 and 1 is a miss. 3 and 2 is a miss. Maybe put this over here. 3 and 1 is a miss. And put this over here since that's where I put my numbers. 3 and 1 is a miss. 3 and 2 is a miss. 3 and 3 is a match. 3 and 4 is a miss. 3 and 5 is a miss. 4 and 1 is a miss. 4 and 2 is a miss. 4 and 3 is a miss. 4 and 5 is a miss. 5 and 1 is a miss. 5 and 2 is a miss. 5 and 3 is a miss. 5 and 4 is a miss. So how many possible ways could they miss each other? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20. You follow that? Now, what was the second question they asked? How many ways could they meet each other? How many ways could they meet each other? Right here, at 1 and 1, at 2 and 2, at 3 and 3, at 4 and 4, at 5 and 5. That would be what? 4, 5. See what they're looking for? Does that make sense to everybody? Build a tree and just count them out. In how many ways can one man and one woman be selected from 5 men and 6 women? I have 5 men. I'll just number them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have what? Where'd it go?
6 women.
Oh, that's one of yours. I can't be working one of yours. No. You guys got to help me avoid that. Number 10. And how many different sets of 2 initials can be made from the letters of the English alphabet? What do I want? 2 initials? How many letters are there for the first initial?
1.
How many letters in the alphabet?
I don't even know.
26.
26. 26 letters to choose here.
Mm-hmm.
Then how many letters for the second initial?
Well, it could still be 26 because some people have the same first and last initial.
It doesn't say you can't repeat them, so there'd be 26 here too, wouldn't there?
Mm-hmm.
So how many?
Don't you just multiply them together?
Then you just multiply those 2, and that would tell you how many. The sequential counting principle, multiply those 2, and that would tell you how many possible 2-letter, what would you call those? Passwords or access words that you could, two letters that you could use to get into your computer. PIN, that's it, PIN numbers. 2-letter PIN numbers. There'd be 26 times 26. What is that? Just so we get comfortable seeing these numbers. 676. So if somebody had a 2-initial PIN to get into their computer, you could try all 676 and eventually find it. Hey, let's go back and do number 9 without drawing a picture. How many people do I have? I mean, we could draw a picture, couldn't we? How many people do I have?
11.
For men?
Oh, 5.
5. And how many for women?
6.
6. So how many possibilities do I have total?
11.
Sequential counting principle says 30.
Oh.
Remember, I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then for the number number 1 man, I could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 women paired up with him. And then for this number 2 guy, 6. So I have 5 possibilities times 6 possibilities, which gives us 30 possible ways to have 2 people, a committee of 2 formed from a group with 11 people in it. So once you start to understand this sequential counting principle, you don't have to draw a picture or a tree. But if you get stumped, can you see where, if you're saying, what's going on here? Can you see how you can start drawing a picture? And just when you get started with the picture, you go, oh, there's 5 possibilities here, and for each one of these, there's 6 possibilities here. That's going to be 5 times 6.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to figure it out by just thinking about it and drawing a partial picture, because it doesn't say draw a picture. So you're just using the partial picture to help you kind of verify in your mind that you're on the right track. A man wants to buy a ring, and he has 2 choices for metal. So for metal, he has gold or silver. So that's 2 possibilities. And what next? Number 12. 3 choices for a stone. For a stone, he has 3 choices. Is that it? How many choices does he have in terms of how many different rings could he buy?
6.
6. 2 times 3. He has 6 possible rings. Is that making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Number 14. An airline recently introduced its newest hub. There are 2 flights from Tampa to Daytona. From Tampa to Daytona, there are 2 flights. And what's it say next? From Daytona to Lansing. From Daytona to Lansing, there are 2 flights. How many ways can you fly from Tampa to Lansing and go through Daytona? What do you think? Here's Tampa. I have 2 ways to fly to Daytona, right? From Daytona, I have 2 ways to fly to wherever. How many possible ways do I have to get there?
You have 4.
And what's the sequential counting principle shortcut?
2 times.
2 times 2 equals 4. See how you can always kind of draw a picture if you get stumped on one and you're can't figure out what to do? In Connecticut, auto license plates carry 3 digits followed by 3 letters. So here's the license plate with 3 digits followed by 3 letters. digits. Letters. You with me? A picture is worth 1,000 words. How many arrangements are possible for the 3 letters? For these 3 letters, how many possibilities?
26.
26 for the first letter, and then
Same for all the others.
what?
Same for all the others.
26 for all the others. So how many possibilities for the 3 letters? What's 26 times 26 times 26? Anybody want to guess?
17,576.
That looks way too big, doesn't it? But you say, I just have to wrap my head around that I'm going to come up with big numbers like that. And then, what's it say for question 16b? How many arrangements are possible for the 3 numbers? Any restrictions?
Oh, can it just be 1 through 9?
So, can you do 1 through 9, or could you use 0?
Oh, that's true. You could use
It doesn't have any restrictions. So, what could I put? How many possibilities for the first digit?
10.
10.
And here,
Same.
and here,
Same.
and that would be 1,000. 10 times 10 times 10. So, how many possible license plates do they have in Connecticut? 1,000 times that would be 17,576,000. So they've got enough license plate numbers for 17 million people in Connecticut. Not a problem. They won't run out of license plates. What'd you say?
It wouldn't be 1 million. Oh, because we're adding 3 zeros.
No, because what are we doing?
Yeah.
We have these.
It's okay, my math.
We have 1,000 possibilities here
I see
and
now.
17,000 here. So you multiply those 2 numbers.
Yeah.
That's sequential counting principle. You multiply those 2 numbers. Good. Number 18. How many 3-digit numbers are there in the set of natural numbers? How do you start counting? When you count things? How many digits did they say? 3-digit numbers. So that would be 1, 2, 3, right? So how many possibilities for the first digit? How do we start counting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
So how many digits do we have for this one?
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? How many is that?
9.
So we have 9 here. And after we get this 9, how many possibilities for the second number?
Is 0 a natural number?
0's not a natural number. I mean,
but it
it's a
can be
natural number.
first.
It's not a counting number. But when we're counting up to 3 places, do we use 0 to represent nothing? 901.
Mm-hmm.
So for the second digit, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many choices for the second digit?
10.
10.
And how many for the third digit?
10.
10 again. Everybody follow that?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be what? 10 times 10 is 100 times 9, 900. 900.
The same way. But not the last 10. Right.
So number 20, telephone numbers in the same area code. What are you thinking?
We're talking about problem 17.
How many two-digit numbers are there?
Would we just do it the same way, but without the last 10?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
All right, good for you. Okay, number 20. Telephone numbers within the same area code consist of 7 digits. So now we're doing telephone numbers, not license plates. And we have 7 digits. And does it give any restrictions? The first digit can't be 0 or 1. So for this first digit, how many choices do I have? If it can't be 0 or 1, that means it can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
That'd be
7,
8.
8, 9. How many digits is that?
8.
What?
8.
8. Okay? So I've got, see, that's why you have to look for conditions. But that's the first digit. So how many possibilities for the second digit?
9. I mean 10.
Because I can use 0, can't I? So I have 10 possibilities. How many possibilities for the third digit?
10. 10. 10. 10. 10.
How many phone numbers would that be?
Quite a lot.
8 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. $8 million phone numbers. Is that right?
Mhm.
That seems like an awfully big number. Yeah? Wrap your head around it. If that's the correct answer. Number 22. Romano's restaurant has 6 items you can add to your pizza. The dessert, so we're going to do pizza here now at the restaurant. So pizza, and we have 6 toppings. Okay? And the dessert menu lists 5 desserts. So over here for desserts, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could have 1 topping and then these 5 desserts. Any one of those 5, or I could have the second topping. Is that what they're looking for? If you want a pizza with one of the 6 toppings, who would want a pizza with just 1 topping? I say if you have 6 toppings for pizza, I want the Supreme with all 6 toppings on it. Okay, they just said I want 1 topping and 1 dessert. So how many choices do I have? 6 choices for the pizza. How many choices for the dessert? How many possibilities do I have? 30. You see that? Because with the topping 1, I can have these 5 desserts. Topping 2, 5. Topping 3, 5. See how that just, if I kept them, build the tree out? See how sometimes when you're saying, I'm not sure if it's just 6 times 5, if you start drawing a tree, it gives you a picture of it, and it helps you settle in your mind, yep, I'm doing the right thing to multiply 6 times 5. So there are 30 different possible. So what that means is, at Romano's restaurant, 30 people could walk in the door and order a pizza with one topping and a dessert, and all 30 of them would
Could
be
something
different.
Or could be different.
Could be different, right. All 30 could be different. Or what they can say is, if you order a one topping pizza and a dessert, we have 30 possible choices for you to make when you come to our restaurant. We might be small, but we could have 30 people all eating a different pizza and dessert combination. Problems 23 to 30 tell you to look at the menu on page 676. Okay, so let's look at this menu and let's see what's going on. How many choices, number 24, how many choices does Sue have if she decides to get an item from group B? Where's group B? How many items in group B?
9.
9. So right next to B, why don't you just write a 9, just so you don't have to keep counting them every time. So how many choices does she have if she wants to order something from group 9? 9 choices.
Mm-hmm.
24B, an item from group B, a soup and a dessert. Now she wants an item from group B, a soup and a dessert. You follow what's going on? How many items in group B? 9. Now I have to look at how many soups there are. How many soups? You can't tell how many soups from reading that menu?
Well,
Not really.
you can't really. I don't speak Chinese.
Do you see soup on the menu?
Oh, it's like under entree. It says soup right there.
You guys don't read menus very often, apparently. No, we eat the cafeteria. You don't
Ours
have to
have
read
nice
the menu.
big pictures on them.
All right. So, how many soups are there?
2.
So I put a 2 here because she has 2 choices for soup. And what's the next question? Desserts?
Soup.
Mm-hmm.
How many desserts are there?
1, 2, 3, 4.
So put a 4 by desserts, put a 2 by soup, so you can have the numbers there when you're working the problem.
Thanks.
So how many possible meals could she order?
Oh my goodness.
How many different times? She could go to this restaurant. Sue could go to this restaurant how many different days and never order the same?
Did 32.
2 times 9 times 4 would be what?
Yeah. I was close.
She could go to that restaurant
About 40 off.
72 times. In math, close doesn't count, you know. It gets checked wrong, so make sure you're doing it right. She could go 72 times to that restaurant and never order the same thing twice. Number 26. How many choices do Bob and Sue have if they decide to get the following? 1 item from group A and 1 item from group B. So Bob and Sue go in there and they want to order an item from group A and an item from group B.
This choice is made women.
How many items in group A?
Which problem are you on?
Problem 26. How many items in group A?
10.
So put a 10 by group A. So there's 10 items in group A. And how many in group B?
9.
So how many possible combinations could they order?
90.
90.
You're not being hungry.
You got this stuff going, don't you? The family dinner, which includes soup, dessert, and one item from Group A and one item from Group B, how many choices would they have? Well, let's just erase this and go Group A, Group B, and what else? Does the family meal provide?
A soup
A soup
and a dessert.
and a dessert. How many soups are there?
2,
How many desserts?
4.
So now we have 10 times 9 times 2 times 4. Or that would be like what? 90 times 8? That would be 720. They could come to that restaurant 720 times and never order the same meal twice. If they wanted to. Number 31. I know that's one of yours, but we're going to do it anyway.
Good.
Sounds good.
Write out all the different ways in which the elements of the set ABC. So I have A, B, C. All the different ways that A, B, C can be matched with what? At
And
and dollar. Is that right?
Percent, not dollar.
Did I copy it? It wasn't dollar?
No.
it's percent, not.
Oh, percent. That's too bad. I like dollar signs. Percent. Okay. So I have A with at and percent. I have B
It's the same.
with at and
Isn't it gonna be 9?
and percent. And I have C with at and percent. Is that what they said to do? And notice that at and or and at are different. So I have A and at.
Isn't that fun?
You follow what they're saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then they notice it says different. So then I also have at and A. They say those are different. You follow what they're telling us? They gave us a condition. If you're just pairing them up, and order didn't matter, it would be 3 times 3 or 9 different possibilities. But since they want you to do them both ways, I'm going to end up with how many parentheses? Then I go at and then I go and A. You follow me? See what I'm doing? If I just made a list of all of them, or if I put them down here like this, maybe this would be an easier way to list them. A and then and A, and then A and percent, and then percent and A. You see what I'm doing? I'm just going right down my tree and listing all of them. Since they want you to list them all, that would probably be an easy way to list them all without overlooking something.
Mm-hmm.
And then, does it ask you? Nope, it just says write them out. It doesn't ask you how many you would have. That's too bad. How many would you have when you were finished?
A lot.
Well, if you did this and this, you'd have 3 times 3 is 9. But then since you double them, that would make it a total of 18. So you're going to have 18 things listed here when you get finished. So I'll let you finish 31 on your own and go to 34. When you buy insurance, you can select a low premium, high deductible. So I can buy, can I erase this now? You have enough of this one to get started?
Mm-hmm.
I can buy, better erase the whole thing so you don't get confused by just part of it up here. What can I buy for problem 34? I can buy low premium, high deductible. Low premium, high deductible. Or I can buy high premium, low deductible. Is that all my choices? Then you may or may not have an accident. Then I may or may not have an accident. So, accident, may or may not. So I can have, in terms of how I pay for it, I have two choices. And then in terms of whether I have an accident, I have two possibilities. So how many possible, is that what they say? How many possibilities are there? How many possible outcomes? What would that be? 2 times 2 equals 4. So I go, should I buy a low premium with a high deductible? Or a high premium with a low deductible? And I ask, so how many years have I gone without an accident? And how much would they reduce my premium if I get a high deductible? So I go, so if I get $500 deductible, my insurance premium will be $100 a year cheaper? Then you see what I'm thinking?
Mm-hmm.
If I have an accident every 5 years, I break even. If I have an accident, I have to pay the first $500. If I don't have the $500, maybe I better go with the higher premium and the lower deductible, the $100 deductible or $50 deductible. Just depends on what kind of driving record you have and how prone you are to have accidents. Number 36. You're in charge of a company that's about to bring a new product to market. And here are your choices. So we got a new product. And what's my first choice? For number 36?
Large.
I can select a large, a medium, or a small market. So that's 3 choices, right? And what's the next thing? Then I can either launch or do what?
License out
License out
or sell rights.
or do what?
Sell
Or sell rights. So I have 3 more choices. See how it helps to kind of draw a picture when you're thinking through these things? And then what's next? That's it. How many choices do I have? And what's the answer?
9.
9. Sequential counting principle. Multiply 3 times 3 is 9. And you can see that, can't you, from the picture? I can have this large market with all 3 options, medium market with all 3 options, small market with all 3 options. Number 38. What decisions do you have to make in case of a hurricane? You listen to the weather forecast? So my first one is weather forecast. And what does the weather forecast say? Will land or will not? Land or not land? That's two choices, isn't it? Next, you have to make a decision. Evacuate or not evacuate? Evacuate or not evacuate? That's two more choices. And finally, the hurricane will make landfall or not. Makes landfall or does not make landfall. That's two more possibilities. And then what do I see when I get to the end of the problem? Draw a tree to show all the possibilities. So I come over here and I go, so what's it going to do? It's either going to land or it's not going to land from the weather forecast, right? And then I'm either going to evacuate or I'm not going to evacuate. Evacuate, just to be sure, or not evacuate. And then what? Now, if I evacuate, okay, I do not evacuate, and it either makes landfall or it doesn't make landfall. You follow me? Now you say, well, why don't I put this up here where I evacuated? Once I've made a decision to evacuate, what the hurricane does is of no consequence. So down here, if I evacuate, if I stay, then it either makes landfall or it doesn't make landfall. Now, do you see why a lot of people, when they give a hurricane warning, they say, I'm going to stay home and take my chances? See, I don't live in hurricane country, but I used to watch the news and wonder, why are those people staying there? And then when the hurricane hits and it's bigger than what they predicted, they're hoping someone will come and risk their life to rescue them. It's like, hey, you made a choice, deal with it. Why didn't you evacuate? And then I see, oh, if you do the math, sometimes the numbers are with you to stay at home. Just make sure you have a safe place to go if the storm hits. If there's a okay, now see, why would I be critical of the people in hurricane country when if there's a tornado, warning, do I go to the tornado shelter? No, because we live in tornado country, so we kind of do the same kind of thing people in hurricane country do. Number 40, a company is considering two projects, Project 1 and Project 2. Project 1 and Project 2. Has to be approved or rejected. Approved or rejected. Approved or rejected. Is that it? If the product is approved, it can be marketed, and it'll either be a success or a failure. If it's not approved, then I don't have this opportunity. You see that? draw a tree diagram showing all the possibilities. I just did. So you do problem 39, and it looks like that's where you stop. We're out of time. What was on the next page that would be so much fun to work? Oh, not that much. Okay. Stop at 39. And let me turn this thing off here.